Hello and a very warm welcome to yet another scintillating edition of the program CAC Weekly, a weekly program that keeps you abreast on the activities and achievements of the Corporate Affairs Commission. My name is Maria Adu Zakari. Happy New Year. Coming up, CAC extends time for full application of penalties for failure to file annual returns by companies, plus a searchlight on beneficial ownership transparency. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's begin with a good news for companies as the CAC graciously announced a 4-month extension to enable defaulting companies file annual returns or be struck off. Public notice. Extension of time for full application of penalties for failure to file annual returns by companies. Further to its earlier notice published on Thursday, 2nd November 2023, informing the general public that it shall commence the full application of the penalties prescribed by the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020. And the Companies Regulations 2021 against companies and each of their directors or officers for failure to file annual returns. The Commission hereby extends the commencement date from 1st January 2024 to 1st April 2024. This extension has become necessary in view of the glitches presently experienced on the company registration portal, and in deference to appeals from the micro, small, and medium enterprise MSME sector. All entities registered under the Companies and Allied Matters Act, companies, limited liability partnerships, limited partnerships, business names, and incorporated trustees are encouraged to take advantage of the window provided by this extension to file their annual returns to date with the Commission. The general public should please note that this publication extension of time does not affect the striking of proceedings commenced by the Commission prior to the publication of Thursday, 2nd November 2023. Furthermore, companies, their directors and officers should note that the Commission shall henceforth provide against directors and officers of struck-off companies for recovery of undischarged penalties against them. For more information and inquiries, kindly visit our website at www.cac.gov.ng or contact us at cservice@cac.gov.ng, helpdesk @cac.gov.ng, +234 7080 629000. Signed, Management. Thank you, CAC, for that extension, and we do hope you'll grab that opportunity to update your records before 1st April 2024. Best of luck. Now let's move on to CAMA 2020. The Beneficial Ownership Register BOR deployed by the CAC became the first in Africa and therefore got mentioned at so many international forums centered on transparency in governance. The BOR, amongst others, helps to check illicit activities such as money laundering, terrorism financing, fight corruption, as well as ensure transparency in business. The CAMA 2020 provided a framework for the implementation of the BOR following Nigeria's commitment to the 2016 London Anti-Corruption Summit. This week, we continue our insight on the concept of beneficial ownership transparency with Tolulupe Adeola Shonaike, Assistant Director, Registrar General's Office. Enjoy watching.
So let's come to some of the benefits. I know transparency, accuracy, some of the benefits, but what other more benefits do the people stand to get from the BO transparency?
Okay. I said earlier that beneficial ownership arrangement, or using nominees or other persons to hold shares for you is not a bad idea. There's nothing wrong about it. But what has also come to the fore is that these arrangements
over time.
Yes, have been used by criminally minded persons, right, to perpetrate and move funds across borders, across systems. And it's a concern for the Financial Action Task Force, which is an independent intergovernmental body, that concerns itself with helping to develop policies around protecting financial systems globally, from illicit flow of funds.
I know during the launch of the BOR, sometimes in May this year, some of the speakers, the participants and those who delivered papers, there's a particular one who talked about the trillions, of dollars that have been, illicit flow from Africa, that Africa suffers from for just the year 2022. I remember he gave the figures, he gave a breakdown of how Africa suffers from this illicit flow, and all of that. Do you think that something like this will address that? The BOR,
that is the,
to a large extent.
To a large extent, that is the idea
because
behind.
People will also devise ways.
No. Well, again, criminality. That's
innovative ways.
Yes, and that's how you know a criminal. And that's why if you are there's a Yoruba that will tell you that it is a thief that can catch a thief.
Okay, yeah.
So it does not mean that you as a law enforcement agent or I as a regulator at the CAC must be a criminal or I must become a thief.
So where will you get the thief that will catch another thief?
You must think the way they think.
But you're not the thief, so how will you think?
But that's why you are the regulator and that's why you are the law enforcement agent. You must, over time, because you have dealt with this issue severally, you must be able to think the way they think. When you are putting systems in place, right? That's why I talk about testing. You must test that system. You don't just say you deploy. You must play the devil's advocate. Okay, I say I'm building a firewall, but take me to be the enemy that I want to penetrate. I know what I've built into that place. Can I circumvent it? As a builder, I should know that yes, you can circumvent. There are ways you can come in that you think they don't know. But if they grow to know it, how do you deal with it? So that's why you must always think a step ahead. A regulator should be able to move a step ahead of the operator, be able to preempt outcomes before they happen. That, look, we'll be noticing these trends.
But do Nigerian regulators do that?
You'll be surprised the number of them do that. You'll be surprised the number. That's what makes it.
Most times they are caught unawares.
Well, it's not only in Nigeria. That's, again, we talk about criminality. You see, what makes a system thrive, right? Sustainability is not the absence of criminality or fraud. It is the ability to be able to identify the perpetrators and address the situation. When people can do things with impunity and get away with it, then there's going to be a problem. But when you know that ultimately, right, they will find you, right? Then it helps to institute some control in the system.
But in the Nigerian system, I steal 100 billion. I go for a plea bargain and I say, okay, yes, I have 100 billion.
Plea bargain is part of the judicial process in any country.
So that's where
it's how effectively we use it.
And then I said, I have 100 billion that I've stolen, and then you take 50 and give me 50.
It does not necessarily work that way. And then the beauty of
that is the understanding that most people have.
Yeah, but the beauty
and if that is the case, that means it's encouraged.
No, but again, that's the understanding that you will have. But that does not mean that's how it plays out. What you read in the press, right? What comes out behind every story, there are many untold stories and perspectives that you won't know until you go behind that story to find out.
And then you go further.
Yes.
But in the past, the Panama Papers, most of this online, the onshores, where
offshore companies,
companies, where all of this happened, and it takes years for people to even discover. It's not something people discover. I mean, the Panama Papers, it took the investigative journalists many years to uncover that, as so as other,
but if you look at it, it's not just.
But the harm has already been done.
Yes, but like I told you, from time to time, things like this will happen. But what serves as deterrent is that you are able to eventually trace and identify the perpetrators and recover assets
As quickly as possible.
Sometimes these investigations are not that fast. Even in the UK, even in the US, there are investigations that
so they can be very demoralizing.
It's not demoralizing because you don't even know the harm until you feel it. It's been happening under. It's only when it comes to the fore that you say, this has been happening. You don't know until you feel it, right? So at that point, investigation starts. Sometimes it even starts before you feel it. When they start seeing that things like this are happening. And that is what this person with control regime, the beneficial ownership regime, seeks to address.
Okay. But let me ask you, like these offshore companies, the Panamas, the Honduras, do they register?
Yes. I mean, if you go back to that, you see that mostly they were perpetrated using companies. It's hard you have to trace ownership.
Okay.
To
and
offshore
companies. To lift veil, because the veils will be many.
Yes, before
just one veil.
you now got to the individuals that were behind. And you found that they were scattered. And those companies were flung as far as and wide as possible.
Yes.
And meanwhile, the ultimate beneficiary could just be there in Ghana, in Nigeria, in the US. And then you wonder in Seychelles, Cayman Island, what is the company doing there? Have guys ever been there? In fact, some of them have never even been there. Well, that's what corporate vehicles can do for you. And it is things like this that the beneficial ownership disclosure regime, transparency, seeks to address. Because sometimes companies just use this opaque arrangements where you can't clearly see who the owner is. Except again,
and it's done in a very neat way.
But let me ask you,
this has been existing for 1,000 years.
The concept.
That's the concept itself. Then it came into the legal entity of recent, isn't it?
Well,
especially in that of Nigeria, but in the UK it's been there for a
even
while.
In the UK, right? Even in the UK, it was.
But let me ask you, what difference has it made so far?
Okay, the difference it has made, for instance, I can't go into details.
But
right?
maybe just some few.
Yes. I'm sure you remember the case of the grass cutting contract.
Okay.
Right.
Most, about some
now,
years
how
back,
were you able to determine that? It was by checking through the records of the company to see that who are the owners of this company, and you found that you can't be interested in something you oversee. That's conflict of interest. I mean, simple as that is, it became a scapegoat, right? But there are so many other arrangements.
But isn't that politically motivated?
See, I always say this. You are caught stealing.
When we have an axe to grind, that's where we continue to lift.
That's not an argument for me. You are caught stealing. And then you say, they are punishing me. We were 3. But they are punishing me. The question the law is asking is, did you steal? It doesn't matter. When they catch the other people too, we'll ask the same question. Did you steal?
Yes or no?
Yes or no. If you stole, then face your punishment. When the others are caught, they will also be asked the same question. Did you steal? Yes or no? So if it's proven against you, I tell people, if you don't want to be a political scapegoat,
don't go
then don't play don't dance to the tune that they're playing for you. You understand?
Yes.
So it's not an argument to say because 4 people did it, only one person has been tried. No.
Okay. So let's go to how is
we're talking about we're talking about the benefits. I mean,
yes.
I'm not why do you need, why is it good for the system? It's good for the business, it's good for
the economy, it's good for the individuals,
it's good for everybody. For the business, for instance, it promotes integrity, confidence in your business, right? You also want to know who you are dealing with.
Rather than
because
dealing with
you don't, it's not every, no business will want to willingly, no company wants to be an instrument for illicit financial flows. You don't want your company to be used to launder money. If you are aware, you don't want that to happen.
You don't want that to happen.
So that is why it is important that even these are the people that are my shareholders. I want to know who is behind you. I don't want to be caught all of a sudden that it's Al-Qaeda that is financing you. Because I have an objective for coming into business. It's not to promote illegality. But my business can attract things like that. You understand? People can come and say, I want to invest in your business. And you think, oh, thank God, God has answered my prayer. I was in church last week. I prayed that God send me help. And now, suddenly an investor has come with 2 billion naira. Now, that money.
And you didn't find out where the 2 billion is coming from.
What the man is simply doing is to find a way to move that 2 billion from where it is into the Nigerian system. And he will tell you, I'm a foreign investor. And it brings the money in. Right? And then all the interest coming from the money, dividends and all that is telling you, well, pay to so and this, I can pay to this. He's the owner. At the end of the day, you find that what this guy is promoting is unlawful. You don't want to do that. That's why, even for you as a businessman, you want to know who the beneficial owners of your company is, right? Beyond that, it also helps the tax system.
Okay.
You know, tax
generate more money.
Well, you can look at it like that. That's a simplistic way.
Because the tax people only understand money. They don't understand
no. But it also helps to combat tax evasion.
Okay.
When we know the people behind that, you know, we have to combat tax evasion, right? It also improves governance of and state procurement. Now, we are all owners of the Commonwealth, right? This Nigeria belongs to everybody. And in that light, everybody should have a right to participate in governance and procurement. But sometimes you look at, you don't know ordinarily until you lift the papers and the veil. You find that, wait, you want to see details of this contract. Who are the people that won the bids? You see company A, okay. And then you see the other one too. You see it's a company, another company, company D. And then you look at the other one. In your own opinion, oh, these are different people benefiting from. So that's fine. And then somebody goes and inquires into who is the owner of company A, who is the owner of company, who is the company B. And you find that it's the same people floating these companies, the same people. So why should state contract be going to the same people?
That's a big question.
So these are the benefits, you know, deriving from these things. It also helps to tackle corruption. Ordinarily, people make money and then they go and invest in estates, go and invest in so many other areas of business. But now when you know that when you go to invest, they will want to know who owns who actually, these people you are putting and fronting. The law wants to know who is behind them. And they're obligated to disclose you as beneficial owner. So before you steal that money, you think, well, how am I going to move it? You know? And so what you may find eventually may be that you find cases where accounts are sitting idle and everybody's denying the ownership. Or you find money, cash, buried somewhere, there's nowhere to spend it. Or people will buy estates, but they cannot come out and say they are the owners. And that is happening anyway already. Right? A lot of estates, nobody will come up and tell you they are the owners. They are there just rotting away. Because by the time you take...
somebody so I can just go and claim one.
Well, you can't. It's not that easy. And then it also helps you recover stolen assets.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when you know that these persons were the ones that took the money and this was where they invested it. You can get it. But that's how you're able to repatriate stolen funds.
But this benefit is subject to the long judicial process.
And that's why you say the arm of the law is long.
Very long. And some people might not even live to see it.
Well,
because of the time that it takes. So I'm asking that, will there be a review to say, okay, from start to finish, this is the time frame? Well, we don't spend so much time in terms of
that's now foraging into the areas of the judiciary. That is not for us. I don't know, and that is for the legislators.
In terms of capacity,
that is the next step. That is the next step we're taking at the commission. Building capacity, helping people to determine their reportable beneficial owners. How do you identify them? You know, that becomes an issue in the case of indirect interest or indirect control.
Okay. I know we can go on and on that, but let's come to data verification. Yeah, you know, even the, the participants during the launch also made reference to that data verification is a huge challenge across the globe, not just in the UK or in any other part of the country, but across the globe, it's a huge problem. So what are the steps that have been taken, to address the data verification challenge? Okay.
When we now talk about data verification, the deployment of the beneficial ownership register would enhance that a great deal, right? The beneficial ownership register, that's PSC register in the context of Nigeria, right? Was launched on the 25th of May of this year. Yeah. There's also the inconsistency flagging, reporting. There is that thing there. When people see something that is inconsistent, what is reported, then they can flag it and let this commission know that this information they are giving you is not correct. We know this person. This is his information. And once that happens, what the commission will do is to open an inquiry right, to that matter, and ask the person, well, this is the information you gave. This is the information we have on you. Which one is correct? Come and reconcile. And then there are also punishments and sanctions for false reporting. Right. Now, you are right in stating that the data verification is a challenge globally. It's not just in Nigeria. Globally, every time we meet at international conferences on these issues, it's about what are you doing in your own jurisdiction? How have you addressed
this
this
issue? Is it that even technology is not able to address
the challenge is this. It's only the information that is submitted to you that you have.
Okay.
You don't know whether the man is lying.
You can't go beyond that.
Even the devil, they say, does not know the heart of a man. So you work with that, and then you work with other information that you may have on that subject, on that person. So now say, but why are you reporting? This is information I give you, but I have your information also as a banker somewhere. This is what you submitted to the CBN or any other regulator. This is what you have submitted to your other association. Why are you giving me this information? So you know that something is wrong. That somewhere there is a lie. Fine.
But for you to verify that lie
now
becomes an issue.
You only use what is available to you, right? And in this instance, let me also mention that the Nigeria Beneficial Owner Person Physical Control Register, right, PSCR, right, is the first in Africa. And it's free and open. Other jurisdictions that have deployed it, it's not free. And it's not open.
A lot of your participants attested to that.
Good. So at least that's a plus
of course.
for Nigeria and the CAC. In fact, it was on that account that we received an award and they just concluded the corporate registers.
I think they described it as one of the most open and transparent.
Yes. So it was a commendable innovation, from Nigeria. Now,
so kudos to CAC.
Thank you very much. So part of the mechanism to verify, again, which is a major milestone for Nigeria in the regime of beneficial ownership or personal sector control, is that we try to at least verify real time in the context of what is available in the system by integrating with the Nigerian Identity Management Commission database, the NIMSI database, right? Everything being equal. If there is no server downtime and all of that, don't forget that this is now one application talking to another application. So when there is a challenge from either end, then there's going to be a problem with the verification. But when things are well up and running, that is a real-time attempt to verify. So when you give us your name, what the system does automatically is to fetch what you have submitted to NIMSI. And when we notice any inconsistency, we will query your application and tell you to reconcile. A red flag.
I think it will be a very good, way to go, especially for the media and investigative reporting. That inconsistency reporting is one challenge that everybody should take very serious, and that the beneficial ownership register is there for us to
test,
so that we don't make nonsense out of it,
because it's only as good as it is used. Even for CSOs, civil society organizations, in their role to promoting citizens' participation.
And I think until when we put it to use, we begin to bring out
the benefits. That's when you actually find the benefits
or some
and
of
the
the challenges that need to be further addressed as far as that is concerned.
Very well.
Mr. Toluwagbe Adeola Shonake, I know we can go on and on and on when this is concerned, but we have time,
right?
And we have to stick to it.
Thank you.
But I must thank you very much for finding time.
It's always my pleasure
to discuss this. But I know in the future we'll still come back to it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you, Medina.
Thank you, Mr. Tolulupe, for that wonderful insight. Now, do you know that by the provision of Section 421, subsection 1 of CAMA 2020, the annual return of a company limited by shares or guarantee or unlimited shall be completed, signed and delivered to the Corporate Affairs Commission not later than 42 days after the annual general meeting for the year? So, have you updated your records with the CAC? Well done if you have, and if you are yet to do that, please hurry now to www.cac.gov.ng to file your return to avoid being struck off. The CAC remains committed to working hard to provide prompt and efficient service to customers in line with global best practices. And that does it for this week's edition of the program CAC Weekly. We hope you enjoyed watching. For comments and inquiries, please take advantage of our social media handles and helpline. On Instagram and Facebook, we're at Corporate Affairs Commission. On X, we're at CAC Nigeria 1. Our email is cservice@cac.gov.ng. You can visit our website at www.cac.gov.ng. You can reach our call center at 070-8062-9000. Do join us next week for another interesting edition of the program, same time, same station. From me, Maria Ado Zakaria, and the rest of the team here, it's bye for now. Do have a beautiful 2024.